guys, it's Maggie Mayfish here at Cracked with the first ever episode of A Better Way to Watch, the show that aims to fix any bad movie watching experience by changing just one thing, because as we all know, not watching a bad movie is just not an option. So grab some extra butter popcorn, because that is the only popcorn worth your time, and pour in some M&Ms. See? It's better already. And pop in the Star Wars prequels. No, don't turn off the video. I know what you're thinking. How can this abomination of what Star Wars stood for possibly be worth watching again? Just stick with me, I promise with just one tweak, I'll change it from a bad film to an interesting one. The next time you watch the prequels, I want you to pretend that Padme and Obi-Wan are secretly in love with each other. First, I'm gonna prove why that theory makes sense, and then I'm gonna prove why believing it makes the prequels so much better. A popular fan theory that's been bouncing around the internet, thank you Reddit and Donna Dickinson, that maybe Padme was secretly in love with Obi-Wan the entire time. The evidence is right there to support this. A long time ago in a movie lot far away, we have our Padme, princess in disguise, arriving on a small desert planet, Tatooine. Traditional viewings of the movie have Padme falling in love with the baby slave Anakin, which doesn't make any sense even if we set aside the gross age difference. Let's take a second look at the rest of the crew. Padme, a red-blooded human woman, meets 3 eligible males, a wise, very old man, a handsome, slightly older, badass magical knight, and slave baby Anakin. We're supposed to believe that she would fall for the younger, dumber toddler that was Anakin instead of the dashing Obi-Wan who's closer to her age? Beautiful princess falls for uneducated child mechanic. That's not a situation. That's not anything. She wouldn't look at Anakin and think, oh, I'll bet he'll be more attractive and moody when he gets older. She wouldn't be able to see him as anything other than a child. It makes so much more sense that she'd be drawn to the Wan. And I mean, with that rat tail, who wouldn't? Moving on to the Clone Wars, Padme requests an old friend to be her security guard on the planet. Now, we are to assume that she means Anakin, but we know that Anakin hasn't seen Padme in 10 years, which hardly makes him an old friend. It's much more likely that she wanted Obi-Wan, an actual badass, to be her guard. Also, watch this scene. So, someone sends a gross slime poison slug to attack then Senator Amidala. Sidebar, I haven't killed a lot of senators, but that seems like a pretty sloppy assassination attempt, even to a novice. Anyways, when it happens, Obi-Wan is the first to go after them. Sure, he's a Jedi, so being chivalrous is in his blood, but it's just as likely that he was following his heart. Someone was trying to hurt his lady, man. Because in between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, they had a bunch of secret sexy rendezvous. In my imagination. And my fanfiction. Anyways, later in the movie, the Jedi Council advises that Anakin shouldn't stay with Padme, and Obi-Wan agrees. Do I sense some jealousy, Obi? Jealousy leads to snippy texts and late-night phone calls. Did Yoda teach you nothing? If you're still looking for more evidence, when Obi-Wan's life is in danger, Padme runs headfirst into a fight to save him. But our holy grail comes later when they're riding on the Reek. Padme puts her hand on his thigh. It looks so natural, as if it's been there many times before. I wish I had a scientist versed in the ways of the Force to tell me whether she actually needed to hold on to his inner thigh to stay propped up on the Reek, or if that was truly a love tap. Let's fast forward to Hayden Christensen's attempt to portray human emotions, Revenge of the Sith. The story revolves around Obi-Wan and Padme spending a lot of time together. In the movie, it's used to fuel Anakin's turn to the dark side, but what if it's because the child Padme is pregnant with is actually Obi-Wan's? No wonder he'd want to stay close to her and keep her safe. And adding whipped cream to our little prequel watching Sunday, when Yoda asks Obi-Wan to search his feelings, the Force takes him right to Padme. Starting to look like some goddamn Shakespeare, right? In that one Shakespeare play about magic space samurais. Wait, did I dream that? More evidence! After the events of the prequels, Obi-Wan goes to Tatooine to watch over baby Luke, which sure is a nice and honorable thing to do, but makes way more sense if you assume that Luke is Obi-Wan's secret son. And that brings us to the original gems with a much smoother pod racing track to get there. So now that we've taken a look at the evidence, does this truly make a better film? I argue, yes, it does. First off, it gives so much more backstory to Obi-Wan and Vader's relationship. Obi-Wan wasn't just Vader's mentor, he was going behind his back and in love with his woman. Vader thought he had her in the bag. It makes their relationship much more tragic. Obi-Wan feels guilty because he let Vader down by seeing him turn to the dark side and by betraying his friendship. Kinda makes you want to set things right? Like raise your son to be a better version of yourself by watching over him and protecting him on Tatooine. It's also the best explanation for why Obi-Wan is so cagey at the subject of Luke's parentage in A New Hope. Obi-Wan says that he knew Luke's father and that Vader killed his father, only to have to backtrack later and tell Luke that what he said was, well, sort of a half-truth. Obi-Wan wasn't just being confusing and vague for no reason. He was doing it because he was secretly Luke's father, but he knew he couldn't admit it. Also, now when he says Vader killed your father, maybe he's saying that as some kind of tragic prophecy. Ooh. It even semi-fixes the problem of Padme. Revenge of the Sith features her crying and staring into the sky, but maybe now we know why. She's slowly watching Anakin turn to the dark side, and the longer this goes on, the harder it is to tell him the truth. She's being ripped apart by the inside, keeping the secret from him, but as time goes on, she no longer has a choice. Telling him about the affair would certainly be the final trigger to turn him into full Darth Vader. Now, let's take a look at the climactic scene of the prequels. The fight between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Adding Padme's love for Obi-Wan in the mix creates a much more exciting scene. Here, Anakin's fears are all but confirmed that she is indeed having an affair with Obi-Wan. And not only that, but she has brought her lover there to kill him.
You brought him here to kill me!
The layers of emotion. This reading also makes Darth Vader's story more interesting. He senses something going on between Padme and Obi-Wan, and his feelings are somewhat justified. Being betrayed by his wife and his best friend, I mean, that would make anyone want to kill a room full of children. Just kidding, that's super an overreaction. But carrying this theory into the original trilogy, it strengthens Vader's redemption. Traditionally, Vader's arc was, I'm gonna kill my dumb son. Never mind, I love my son. I can't kill my own son. I'm gonna betray the Emperor instead. But with this new reading, his motivation is, I want to destroy Luke because his very existence reminds me that my best friend betrayed me and slept with my wife, but never mind, I'll save him anyway. By saving Luke at the end of Jedi, Vader is accepting Obi-Wan and Padme's love and acknowledging that even though they cheated, they belong together. In accepting Luke, he accepts and forgives their betrayal. With this new reading, Star Wars 1 through 3 is about the tragic destruction of an intense friendship and love shared among 3 people. And Star Wars 4 through 6 is about the ultimate preservation of the best thing that came out of that love, Luke Skywalker. Boom, bam, Maggie is a genius.
You were right about me.
Shut up, Vader. So there you have it. Maybe next time your nephew wants to pop in the prequels, you won't have such a hard time watching. As for Jar Jar Binks, I have nothing for you but to burn your retinas. I'm Maggie Mae Fish, and this has been A Better Way to Watch. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I've been Maggie, and if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe to our channel, and if you want me to do another reading of a movie, leave a comment below. I don't know, maybe I'll make a video on it.